Some cars are beautiful, some are powerful, and some become legends. But very few carry the spirit of a Hollywood icon. Today, we're not just driving one of the most iconic sports cars ever made. We're stepping into the driver's seat of a 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300SL Gullwing, once owned by none other than Clark Gable, the undisputed king of Hollywood. It's more than a drive, it's a time machine. Asterisk, in this business, you drive countless cars, most of them interesting and many of them thrilling, and some of them unforgettable. But few of them are haunting in the fashion of the car you are sitting in now. It's a landmark machine. For one, a 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300SL Gullwing coupe. Ahead of its time, one of the most acclaimed sporting two-seaters ever made. A pristine example from just 1400. Produced between 1954 and 1957, a scrapbook trophy. Even for veterans of the car testing trade. But this particular 300SL is more than that. Much more. This was Gable's car. Asterisk, to say Clark Gable would be redundant. Gable is enough. The king of Hollywood. The weather-worn man's man with the pencil mustache who uttered the most immortal line in movie history, frankly. My dear, I don't give a damn. And then strode away into Hollywood's Olympus. The matinee idol of idols who starred. With Jean Harlow in 1932's Red Dust, and then, in 1953, joined Ava Gardner in the remake of Mugumbo, because, even after 21 years, audiences wanted no one else in the lead role. He sat in this very seat, adjusted these chromed controls, tipped his Kents and his Cuban cigars into this ashtray, grinned with the giddy gratification of owning something wonderful when he twisted the key in this. To life, this was Gable's car. For today, it's yours. Asterisk, Gable bought the Gullwing new at Mercedes-Benz of Hollywood. In 1955, on the registration alongside his signature is that of his fifth and final wife, actress and model Kay Spreckles. Perhaps the couple drove the Mercedes back to their Encino, California estate together, Gable awkward as he folded his 6-foot, 1-inch frame over the wide door sill and into the tidy cockpit for the first time, husband and wife giggling as they pulled shut the novel top-hinged doors. Dealership employees and Kodak-toting passers-by crowding close as Gable fired up the engine, cleared its throat with quick stabs of the throttle, eased his new toy into traffic. Once home, Gable would have called up a few close pals like MGM publicity boss Howard Strickland and invited them over to see his prize. The buddies sipping whiskey and trading barbs as they admired the 300SL's avant-garde curves in the Southern California dusk. She's sure something, Clark, they'd have said. And Gable would have flashed that Klieg-light smile. Asterisk, you study the silver-painted sheet metal. Looking for reflections of the sights, this car has seen the rising sun as the Gullwing sat in Gable's driveway, dewy and cold, waiting for the movie star to bound from his house, script under his arm, in a rush to make that morning's call, time for run, silent, run deep. The iconic faces Lancaster, Monroe, Stewart, Hayward who peered curiously at this futuristic machine parked on the studio lot in the King's Reserve space. The Santa Monica Mountains blurring past as Gable spurred the car homeward. Blissfully alone at last, after another draining day at the epicenter of the soundstage beehive. Temporarily released from the makeup assistants and the dialogue coaches, and the camera grips, and the unblinking, unforgiving stare of the Panavision lens. You study, but the Gullwing's silvery skin is silent with its secrets, faithful to its original master. Asterisk, this was Gable's car. From that happy delivery day in 1955 until the star's sudden death of a heart attack on November 16, 1960, he'd finished the grueling shoot of Arthur Miller's Western, The Misfits. Co-starring Marilyn Monroe and Montgomery Clift, just 2 weeks earlier, the Benz had been with him on the Nevada set. Cinematographer Doc Kaminsky hired to make a behind-the-scenes documentary, remembers racing Gable and the Gullwing across the desert floor. He had a Gullwing Mercedes and I had a brand new Austin Healey at the time. Kaminsky told the Reno News and Review. Clark was an excellent driver, and we'd go blasting off over the Geiger grade. And this was in the 1960s, remember, so no speed limits. Asterisk asterisk Gable and the Gullwing helped Kaminsky bust limits with the ladies, too. One day, I was going with a girl downtown, and I pulled up to a traffic light, Kaminsky told the paper. Clark Gable pulls up next to me in his Gullwing and says, "Hi, Doc, how's it going?" It's the girl I was with, her teeth fell out. She says, "Was that Clark Gable?" "Oh yeah, I'm working with him on a project. Only weeks." Later, Gable was gone, the victim, many said, of having overtaxed his hard living. 59-year-old body by doing his own stunts in that final film. How do you find your way back in the dark? Asks Monroe's Rosalind Tabor at the movie's close. Just head for that big star straight on. Gable's Gay Langland replies, "It'll take us right home." Gable's body was laid to rest alongside that of his beloved third wife, actress Carole Lombard, killed in a 1942 plane crash while returning home from a war bond campaign. 4 months later, Gable's widow, Kay, gave birth to his one and only child, son John Clark. Asterisk soon, the Gullwing moved into the orbit of a lesser star, Harry Henningsen, a creator of the penny comic strip that ran from the early 1940s into the 1960s. In the early 1970s, Henningsen sold the car to Charles R. Wood, an entrepreneur known as the father of theme parks and co-founder, with Paul Newman, of a camp for terminally ill children. Wood kept the Gullwing for 3 decades until 2003, at age 89. He sold the car to its fourth and current owner, Bob Howard, president of Mercedes-Benz of Oklahoma City, and one of the directors of the huge Group 1 Automotive Dealer Association. Asterisk, most days Gable's Gullwing now sits quietly on Howard's dealership floor. A 3-pointed star attraction, even amid the gleaming S-classes, CL Coupes, and a nearby SLR McLaren. But today you're going to take it out and prod the rarely touched throttle pedal and stir the gears and steer lateral GS into the tires, and you'll do it carefully. Indeed, because this Gullwing is worth maybe $700,000, and besides, if you so much as scratch it, Gable himself might materialize and swing on you the way he punched Spencer Tracy in 1940's Boomtown. Asterisk climbing aboard. You fold your cowboy boots back with your hands to keep from scraping the wide leather doorsill, and Gable was an inch taller than you. But once you're seated, the cabin is cozy. The dash is a riot of knobs and sliders, all unmarked, so you need to memorize what they do or you'll switch on the lights when you're trying to activate the ventilation fan. Strapped down behind your head is the set of optional fitted leather luggage that Gable ordered for his car long ago, undoubtedly. The case is kept clean and neatly folded, the size 44 long suits he bought 4 or 5 at a time at Brooks Brothers. In New York, above your left leg, near the parking brake, protrudes a tube from engineer Rudolf Uhlenhaut's lightweight welded space frame, which blocks the usual passenger door openings, hence the upward raising Gullwings. You'd normally find such tubes in a race car, of course, but at its heart, that's what the Gullwing is. American Mercedes importer Max Hoffman, having persuaded the German maker to build a road version of its Le Mans-winning 1950 300SL. The Gullwing weighs just 2,850 pounds and has no air conditioning. Asterisk over the years, the Benz has been restored to perfection, current owner. Howard has spiffed up the paint and the engine, but it's just as it was during Gable's lifetime. It was Gable who ditched the standard steel wheels in favor of the racing Rudge knockoffs the car wears now. The only item the star might not recognize is the steering wheel. In place of the standard white rim is an elegant wood and chrome Nardi model. One picture of the car taken during Gable's reign appears to show the Nardi, but it's fuzzy. You trace your fingertips over the wood anyway, in case it was this wheel that decades ago twirled under the hands that once seized Vivian Lee's Scarlett O'Hara by the shoulders while an angry Rhett Butler snarled, "That's what's wrong with you. You should be kissed, and often, and by someone who knows how." Asterisk, this Gullwing is rare and valuable enough that you ask for instructions before touching a thing. The car's handler responds that the engine likes a few seconds of fuel pump before you engage the starter. You oblige with a tug on the appropriate knob, then twist the key. The Gullwing was the world's first production car with a direct injection 4-stroke gas engine. And the inline 6 lights off easily and settles into a confident thrum. Gable's car is alive again. Asterisk. The door above your head is beautifully balanced. It stays raised until you want it closed, then drops with a gentle pull. It's hot in here. No wonder Gable liked to shower 3 times a day. The fully synchronized 4-speed slips easily into first, the clutch releases smoothly, and you're off. You are driving Gable's Gullwing. Asterisk, naturally, you're tentative at first, nervous. Even but the 300SL is so modern and forgiving in its control responses. You can't help but begin to let it run. It wants to run. Above 3,000 revolutions per minute, the engine opens up like a floodgate. You're quickly up into third and have to back off hard for a turn. Downshifts are sweet and easy. The giant fin drum brakes strong. You're back on the power, the engine growing happier after every climb up the tack. You're sure it could do 140 plus? Easy. Asterisk. And now the Gullwing is finally beginning to speak. To you, now it says, you understand why Gable loved it so. You hear the proud mechanical aria that Gable heard. Your boots are squeezing the pedals his boots did. Your eyes are watching the same instrument needles rise and fall. You're savoring the very engineering excellence the car showered on the movie star. This, you realize, is how it felt to be the king of Hollywood as he drove to work, or raced across the desert, or challenged a mountain road just for the joy of it. In here, alone in the cockpit of this remarkable automobile, you are just as he was. Asterisk too soon, though? Day is over. Gable's Gullwing is due back in its showroom. You switch off the engine, raise the door, and as slowly as you can, climb out. Notes: as you write the word Gable, you smile and lift your head to gaze at the Gullwing one more time. But already, as if carried off with a brisk gust of Oklahoma wind, it is gone. Asterisk, asterisk, you just witnessed a drive not just through roads, but through time. Gable's Gullwing isn't just a Caritz, a piece of living Hollywood history you loved. This journey into the past? Hit that like button. Subscribe for more legendary car stories and tell us which icon's car would you like to drive next.